Brother, start cleaning those tires up. During this time, remember they fan out down there, so protect that bottom. Sunday drive. All right, boss man. Hey, car's off. Be ready. Bud, be ready. Ready. Green flag. Green.
Hello and welcome to the Inside Pass. I am Randy Miller. Tom Baker sitting next to me, and Noah and Peter should be here at some point in time, as they are on their way.
They got caught in slower traffic.
They got caught in live traffic.
Lap cars. Yeah.
Yes, so they will be here in just a moment. Big show for us tonight. In the studio, we have Jesse Love, and we'll talk to him too. He's part of our co-hosting crew tonight, so I'm sure you'll hear him chime in from time to time during the course of the evening. And also on the phone, which we will talk to as soon as we get back from our little short break, is Calum Illot, who will be a NTT IndyCar driver next year for Juncos Motorsports. He already signed the deal, so he will be a full-time driver next year, all the way from the United Kingdom.
Juncos made a great choice with Calum Illot.
Yep.
He is going to be, I think Calum's going to be a star.
Yeah, when we talk about we talk about drivers of the future, last week we had Kyle Kirkwood on.
We did.
We talked about him being a superstar in the making, and I think Calum's going to fall into that same lineage of tough talent.
We've had, Pato O'Ward. There's a number of them now in IndyCar that are, and I think Calum is definitely going to be a tremendous addition to the series.
You look at the pipeline, not only on the NASCAR side, but also on the IndyCar side. There's a lot of good talent coming up through that pipeline, including Calum and Kyle too. So, and Jesse on the NASCAR side coming up through the pipeline too.
Yep.
So, kind of an intertwined kind of night in terms of young talent coming through the pipelines in their proverbial series. So.
Jesse, you are tied for the points lead in ARCA. In about 20 seconds, sum up how you feel going into the final race at Phoenix.
Well, +1, actually. We got
are you +1?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
okay. My bad. I thought you said you were tied when
at one point might be needed
TV.
at the end of the year. No, exactly. I feel like we've been the best car all year. We've had 3 mulligan races. Sonoma, we had a gear chunk, and Vegas, we took the lead and had a right front tire go down. And last week we got taken out.
Got dumped.
Short way to put it.
I'm just going to call it what it is. He got dumped.
Exactly. So we will break down everything that happened at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. We also have, of course, some IndyCar F1 news, as we always do. And when we come back from break, hopefully the boys will be here, and we'll talk to Calum Illot, who is on the phone right now. We are presented by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life, and we'll be right back.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer that fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car?
I don't know. It won't start.
How are we getting home?
Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family-owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hey, I'm Howie DiSavino, and you're listening to The Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass. The boys have finally made it. Noah and Peter have arrived, so thanks, guys, for
starting the show a lap down.
Graciously, we need Kevin Harvick to tell him a thing or two. We've also got Jesse Love in the studio. Tom's here. I'm here. Chris is pushing buttons, and on the phone, we're going to go straight to the hotline and talk to our guest of the night from the United Kingdom, one of the good up-and-coming drivers and out of the IndyCar pipeline. Just signed a deal for a full-time ride next year with Young Coast Motorsports in the NTT IndyCar Series. We welcome Calum Illot to the Inside Pass. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for taking some time out to join us.
Oh, good evening. Thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned, you are going to get ready to embark on a full-time ride next year, 2022. The IndyCar season, of course, has already ended for the year, but you are going to go into next year with a full-time ride with the team that you ran some races for at the end of this season. Tell us a little bit about how excited you are about getting this new full-time venture next year.
Yeah, obviously it's an amazing thing for me to have in my career. Obviously coming from Europe, it's quite different for me. But to approach the ovals as well is something that I will have to get used to and test a little bit at the end of this year. But yeah, super excited. Obviously doing the last 3 races of this year, it was a good start to get a baseline, especially with the team as well. But moving on to next year, I think it will be awesome.
We do have a worldwide audience for this show, but obviously a lot of folks here in the U.S. probably don't know a whole lot about you. Can you walk us through in a minute or two your career to date and kind of how you got started, what got you interested in all that?
Yeah, so I started karting mainly because I enjoyed it. I went to like a go-karting party when I was about 7 years old, and then from there kind of just took off as a hobby that I would do maybe once a week, and then turned out I was quite all right at it. And then from there, I joined the Red Bull Junior team in 2015, moved from karting to Formula 3, and spent 3 years in Formula 3, which is, I would say, almost equivalent to like the Indy Pro Series out here. And then I moved into Formula 2 in 2019 and did 2 years of Formula 2, which I finished second last year. So this year I spent most of my time driving in Formula 1 free practices or the GT series. So I was racing actually at the Speedway in Indianapolis yesterday for the 8 hour of Indy.
Wow. I love that, Peter. He's already on the track at Indy, taking part in that. That's awesome.
You need all the practice you can get at Indy, especially with how short the month of May is now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was good to do and good to learn to get a bit more of a feeling for it. But we didn't do the NASCAR cut-through where they broke the curb, so we had to do the longer left-hander.
Well, funny you bring up the NASCAR Cup Series, because I saw Alex Palou a couple weeks ago at the Charlotte Roval race, and I'm just wondering, do you think NASCAR could be in your future? Is that ever enticed you?
I'll give it a go, but to be honest, I'm still discovering the IndyCar lifestyle, so I have to do that for a little while before I can speak about anything else.
Yeah, talk about you talk about being in that 8 hours of Indy yesterday, and you were leading the race when there was an issue. Talk about what happened there.
Yeah, unfortunately there was a GT4 car in front who unfortunately was a little bit unpredictable, and I went the wrong side of it, and unfortunately he went to the left and put me in the wall in the 7th hour of the 8 hours, and whilst we were leading. So I'm a bit unfortunate really, but it's what happens when you have some mixtures of cars on track, and unfortunately we just got it wrong. I went the wrong side, but it was a good race. Otherwise, we were leading and pushing all the way.
See, you will start your NASCAR education now for the future. In NASCAR, that unpredictable would be labeled as he was a squirrel. Squirrely, yeah. So there's your first NASCAR word of the day. But it's what was it like to race at Indy for the first time? What was it like to walk through the gates and see the place?
It was really cool. I mean, the size of the place is so incredible. Compared to Europe, I mean the speedway itself is just massive, but the road course, I mean, it's difficult. It's not easy. A lot of long corners. There's a lot of how would I say it? Overtaking zones, which in the GTs make it difficult and easy at the same time. So yeah, it was really exciting for me.
You know, one of the cool things about your career that I've just going through some of your timeline. You ran the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the first time this year, and actually got a podium finish out of it. It's kind of funny because most of the young kids or most of the guys coming up through the pipeline would rather do the Rolex first, or they do the Rolex first and then go to Le Mans. But you did Le Mans first. The Rolex 24, is that something that you think that you would love to do? I'm sure at some point in time during the course of your career. I mean, you're only 22 years old. At some point, you're going to run the Rolex. It's almost a given. But to do it so quickly in your career, it's just got to be an overwhelming type of experience for you.
Yeah, for sure. It was really amazing. I mean, it's a long week because you start, to be honest, the Friday the week before with the testing program that they have. But the Rolex, I'm asking to do it for next year. It's not so easy to find space. I think already it's quite full. But after the experience I had in Le Mans, I really enjoyed the 24-hour races. That's for sure.
Now, when you were coming up through the ranks, I mean, was Indy something that you wanted to do, or was this more that this was the opportunity that you had? How did you see IndyCar growing up as a young lad in the UK? How did that rank? Obviously, it seems like F1 would be everybody's dream, but was this something you really always wanted to do?
Honestly, I wasn't really too aware of Indy when I was younger because you're brought up through the kind of European single-seater ladder. And it wasn't until really, I'd say 2017 or 2018 when Fernando came along that I was made aware more of the greatness of, should we say, like the Indy 500, for example, and the power that has within motorsports. But from a personal side, I became more aware at the end of last year. I started to approach some teams to look at doing it even for this year. But it was last minute, and I couldn't make anything work. But as soon as the opportunity came around for this year, and I knew that the F1 stuff was not heading in the right direction, it really made sense for me to do it. I mean, it's a great series, and I hear a lot of people really enjoy it out here. So it made sense for me. But I was brought up and prepared for Formula One, so that was my goal for a long, long time. But you've got to be realistic, and I think for me, IndyCar could be a really good thing for me.
From the standpoint of skill set, what is the difference between kind of where, I mean, you came up through, as you said, you were kind of being groomed with the F1 skill set package. What have you had to do differently with the IndyCar so far?
To be honest, it's been a different environment, I would say, for me, because obviously it's a new team. We're having to start from scratch. So that's really been a first for me and something that's been also a challenge. But whilst I've been trying to learn, the team's been trying to learn. So that's a different environment for me. But on a racing side of things, it's a more intense. I mean, you've got 2-3 pit stops per race. You've got no power steering. You're always fighting. That kind of thing is quite intense for me. But I've always enjoyed that style of racing, but it seems something that I need to get a bit more used to. But it's impressive. I mean, there's a lot of good drivers out here. Really, really tough competition.
Have you found that you need to do some different things as far as your training regimen and the workout and all of that for the IndyCar versus what you've been used to? Not so much. It was more that I just had to get back in a car because I hadn't driven a single seater without power steering since the F2 championship finished. So it was almost 1 year that I've been out of a single seater, and even then I'd only driven the F1 car a couple of times this year. So I was really quite a bit, I would say, out of the race fitness side of it. So I did try to prepare, but
and no matter what, when you get back in the car, it's all tough.
Got about 30 seconds left here. Where can fans follow you, Calum, as you start your career here?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram,
yes,
Twitter,
social medias.
_Illot. But I'm hopefully on the top step of the podium in some IndyCar races. That's maybe where you'll be able to see me.
There you go.
I like that.
That's a good answer. I actually like that answer. It's Calum _Illot, right, on Twitter, if I'm correct, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be probably the best place to follow you. Calum, best of luck to you. Go on, and 2022 I think is going to be a big year for guys like you, Kyle Kirkwood, and guys coming up to the pipeline. So make us all proud, and come back and join us anytime.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem. Calum Illot, everybody, you're going to hear that name quite some time for years to come, I think.
Yes,
coming
for
into
sure.
the pipeline. So we will take a break. We will be back with more than Inside Pass right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer to fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best.
Sure, right.
His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player.
Strike two.
He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
I'm at the NASCAR epicenter Daytona 500 Grand Marshal Track House representative. With cones at the stage, I'm in the suite next to the greatest of all time, baby MJ. Blake Shelton to McGraw, so in love.
I guess I should have said to warn yourself and behave over there.
I think this is the first time that Noah's ever been here when that's played.
No, it's the second time.
Is it the second time?
Okay. He stood up and like karaoke'd it the first time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
For people that don't know, Noah's in Cowboys stuff, so I refuse to unmute his mic for tonight.
Sitting here talking like
See,
I can't hear myself.
I was a Cowboys fan for a day yesterday because they were playing the Patriots,
Hello,
and then
hello.
when they
Oh, here we
won,
go.
I was like, there. Now I can go back to not being a Cowboys fan.
I was wondering
again
why I
until-
wasn't hearing myself for a second.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, because Chris muted me the last time I was singing the Pitbull when we came back from break, so it's convenient that he left me on mute this time.
See, I was going to warn you because we're trying to make sure that we get guests to come back, and so, I mean, Jesse's been on the show, not on the Inside Pass, but he's been on a Race Chaser show a lot, and we're trying to get him to stay.
I know, scare him away in the first few minutes.
But see, Jesse doesn't... hit Jesse's mic for a second.
Yeah.
Jesse doesn't sing well anyway.
No.
In fact,
No.
You just turned red when you said that.
Jesse sings in the key of door. That's the key he sings in. And when Toyota did all the JBL stuff where you do guess that song which is the funniest stuff ever. Like, I kept teasing Jesse because Jesse wanted no part of it. Like, I don't want to. It's like, Jesse, the whole idea is to make fun of yourself and let people, laugh at you.
It's like, you brought me here to drive cars, not
double
sing.
your fan base that way, But I mean, if Drew Dollar can do it, and Drew's voice is terrible, but he's so much fun to watch because he just has such a good time singing so badly.
He said I was getting ready to scare him off with the Cowboy stuff, but man, I had to. That game last night, I had to go out.
It was a good game.
So, Jesse, you've had an interesting season this year. You've had some great runs, had some wins, got your first big win, ARCA National win a couple weeks ago at Salem. And obviously had some disappointments like last week in the West Race at Roseville. But overall, not a bad season for you at all.
Yeah, after Salem, I kind of wrote my season off as more of a success. I think that halfway through the season, actually right before Salem, because... Which race was right before Salem? We had a race with Venerini before Salem. I think it was Bristol.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good speed.
Bristol.
Yeah, and but didn't get the finish we wanted. Kind of going into that race knowing, okay, we won with the Super Light, won with the ARCA West car. Everything else I was doing miscellaneous stuff. And I knew I needed to win with that to be able to write my season off in the eyes of everybody else, and especially me as a success. So a lot of pressure going into that race and put a lot of work and effort into it. And just kind of going through the year, it's easy for a young driver just to kind of be like, okay, well, I want to improve this race and improve the next race and just work on improving, right? But at a certain point, you just kind of got to cut it off and just be like, got to go win the race. So I still used everything that I learned throughout the year, and I still took the lessons I learned after the race to be better. But at the same time, I just went into that race with only one goal in mind, and it paid off really well. So that was definitely a good win to get and a good time to get it.
For sure, yeah, as you go down the stretch. And now you go back to Phoenix for the ARCA West finale with a 1-point lead in that series. And I know you've obviously raced Phoenix before, so what's that like from a driver's standpoint to race at that track? What does it take to be fast there?
It's a hard question to answer right now because the first few times I've been there, that was the only big track stuff that I've run. So you guys know me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was really fast and high pace and all this stuff, right? But now I've been to Bristol, I've been to a lot of different racetracks to where I don't know when I go back there, is it going to slow down a lot for me? I'm sure it will. But at the same time, you got to have a lot of, courage getting into the corner in turn one, I guess the best way to put it. And you got to be,
fortitude.
Yeah, and you got to be really consistent with painting the yellow line, unless you're going to run the PJ1. But 3 and 4 is its own beast. It's a really similar corner to anywhere else you normally see. Just hit your marks and get off the corner as good as you can. So the dog leg adds a great aspect to it. I love it. Restarts are always fun, and we should run a lot better than we have there in the past. I think we ran 6th last time we were there. So I feel like we got our big track program a lot better on the west side, and I've been able to learn a lot of the East Coast stuff. Obviously, everybody knows the technology is a little bit delayed getting out to the West Coast, so I feel like I've learned a lot from being on the East Coast to make our West Coast stuff a lot better.
So what is that pressure like, though, as you head into Phoenix? Because it's like you got 1st through 5th in the standings that are within 6 points. Mm-hmm. And so then you got to recollect your mind, and do you go into it really like a natural race, where you just want to, or do you have that pressure on you and you're constantly thinking about those points?
I'm not really worried about it. I've already done it once. I can do it again. So
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the whole points thing. In my mind, I've already won the championship. So we're just kind of waiting to get to that point and stuff that Tom's kind of taught me over the years. So thank you, Tom. But
You're welcome.
at the same time, it's going to be a really cool weekend, and I just want to get to the racetrack. I'm eager to get to the racetrack, and it's a place I have a lot of fun just driving around in general, Phoenix. So I'm looking forward to getting there and seeing how close we can get to the front. And I really think we got our West Coast stuff a lot better. So and our big track program a lot better. So who knows? Maybe we can run with 18 in the Venturini cars, and that would be a win in my book for sure.
So, driving for Venturini Motorsports, I mean, obviously, when you talk about top-level teams, obviously Venturini in the ARCA Series is pretty much like Hendrick, in the Cup Series. Does it ease your mind at all knowing that you're driving pretty much the best equipment in the ARCA Series, not having to worry so much about, setup and that kind of stuff as you would driving for maybe a lower-funded team?
For sure. I think that takes some pressure off of every driver. I think that as I kind of, talked about a little bit earlier, like with the technology from the East Coast a little bit delayed to gain the West Coast, it's been good for Bill to have his truck team out here now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been able to get some help from the truck team and those crew chiefs and everything like that. So that's been great. And Bill's a smart guy. I'm sure it wasn't just by dumb luck. So Bill's done a great job we've gotten some new bullets for this championship race and everything like that. So it is, when I go run for Venturini, it is cool to run for them. Everywhere we go to, they've already won at. And same with Bill. Wherever we go to, 90% of the time, I think with the exception of Portland or Sonoma, we won at. So that's always, eases your mind that you don't have to worry about the car being fast because you only have to focus on one thing, and that's most of the time yourself. So I think that definitely helps a driver get better every week, and when they have one thing to focus on, that's going to help them a ton instead of focusing on the car and the performance of that aspect.
Yeah, those notebooks of Venturini, I'm sure, are pretty thick. They're like novels, many notes from many years of service and performances on that team. So Texas Motor Speedway was the race we just left. And some young rookie named Kyle Larson won. That's weird. I've never heard that name before.
We're like Young Money.
I think he's won a time or two this year.
I think maybe he's won a couple. He's won like a couple races. He's won.
Remember when we were discussing on who would be the first to get the 2 wins in a row?
We were thinking 2 wins,
right?
and he's quadrupled that times like 6. It's 8 official wins, 9 if you count the All-Star race.
That's
but
right. Yeah.
Obviously, you don't count the All-Star race.
Texas season sweep.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he definitely did. So he is the first of 4 drivers locked into the championship 4 at Phoenix, and so now I guess the question remains, boys, what's who do you think the other 3 might be based on what we saw at Texas?
Oh gosh, I really think that Kyle Busch's consistency is going to be good throughout this round, and I really think that Kyle could end up over there. I think that Chase is still in a spot where if they can focus off of what we're going to talk about a little later, that if they can focus, they'll be in a good spot. But everyone else, I mean, Blaney's been consistent too, and he's kind of been under the radar if you think about it in a way. And now he's up there, sneaky for sure. Yeah. And so, but everyone else in my book is kind of just like, I don't know. It's just, especially after this weekend and how many guys had issues.
Peter Blaney, my dad used to have a phrase for Harry Gant when he used to race. He called him a lurker, and it was because Harry would just lurk back there for the first 3 quarters of the race, and then at the end of the race, all of a sudden he's chasing the win.
A lot like how David Pearson used to race.
Yes, and exactly. And so that's what I feel like Ryan Blaney's been. I don't think he's meant to. I mean, sure, he'd rather win 8 races, but he's just been kind of lurking around. He's done just good enough to keep himself in this thing, and we're at the point now where all you got to do is win 1.
Absolutely, and at least one driver is going to get to Phoenix on points, so why can't that be Blaney?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my response to the Larson thing in the question of who the other 3 are, I don't think it matters. Just give Kyle the trophy, and he'll just go.
Put all 40 of them in the championship chase, and I don't think it's really going to matter. Yeah. The thing about Kyle Larson, though, we talked all season about how he doesn't take the pressure. Like nothing gets him, discombobulated. Nothing gets him, out of sorts. He's just there, and he's always.
I like that.
Yes, that's a good word
for
me. That is a big word for me.
It's a bell.
But
almost made me misconfused.
He's one of those. He's one of those people that just shows up and drives a car. Like he doesn't really care what's underneath of it. He'll figure it out as the time goes. Now we're in a situation where he's got 2 weeks to basically think about, going into the championship race at Phoenix, and not have to worry about making that win happen because he's already there. So I don't know if that makes it scarier for Kyle Larson because he doesn't have to worry anymore even about making the championship, and he can just focus on winning the next 2 races, or if he's just whatever happens. So.
It's so funny because you usually think about the competition and you never want to give that guy the advantage of having a few weeks. But I feel like that team, with where they are, they've been thinking about getting to Phoenix for a while. They've known that they're going to be in that high percentage of trying to get there.
But instead of putting in hours and hours and hours on your Kansas car or on your
definitely
Martinsville car,
helps.
you can put all that time and effort into just the Phoenix car, because now the next 2 weeks don't matter. It doesn't matter.
But I guarantee they're fast every week.
I would be surprised to see him win the next two
Exactly.
races.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a
maybe
mile
not.
and a half and a short track.
Maybe not Martinsville, because Larson's never been good there, even though he did finish fifth in the spring. So we'll see about that.
I don't believe the
Kyle
whole
Larson this year.
Yeah, I don't believe the whole. He's never been good anywhere, because that doesn't
Well, he
apply
never
to
won at a
anything.
road course for this year or an intermediate.
Twice
and now,
this year. Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about Kyle Larson. We've got Fantasy NASCAR. We'll talk more with Jesse Love as well. This is the Inside Pass, and we will be back with more right after this. Stick with us.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best.
Sure, right.
His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player.
Strike two.
He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
When Marlon Shirley was 5 years old, he was in an accident and lost his foot, but he didn't lose his heart.
When you tackle a challenge that you just cannot even fathom tackling, when you accomplish that, the amount of integrity and the will and the heart that you'll get from that experience is what will set you up for your life.
In less time than it took Marlon Shirley to say that, he can now run 100 meters because today he's the world's fastest amputee. Overcome it. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hey everybody, this is Larry McReynolds with NASCAR on Fox, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
So during the break, we were discussing back in February before we started the season. We picked who we thought were going to be our final 4 drivers in the playoffs come Phoenix in a couple of weeks.
Uh-oh. Did he pull up the receipts?
Last week I did. Well, last week we all lost one driver because everybody had Harvick except for Seth, who actually had Bowman, but he lost one too. So we're all down to 3 drivers in the chase or in the playoffs. I have Chase, Martin Truex, and Kyle Larson. Tom has Larson, Joey Logano, and Chase.
Logano's going to be
DeGroot, even though DeGroot can't play weekly racing, he still has his final 3, which is Chase, Denny, and Brad. Peter has Denny, Brad Keselowski, and Chase.
Ooh,
I might have. Did I have two? Did I have Kyle and Denny?
No, you have Chase, Denny, and Brad.
Oh, Brad. Really?
And then Seth has Chase, Joey, and Kyle Busch. So.
Chase,
What was I thinking going
Kyle
against
Busch.
KB?
So I feel like I've still got the inside track here.
Yeah.
But Joey's
So
got
none
a-
of us had Larson.
The
None of the
only me and Tom, they only have the only two that picked Larson for the final
Wow.
four.
How about that?
So
Props
so
to
we
you
know.
guys. Yeah.
Joey's
Props to
got
you
to
guys.
send. Joey's got to send Harvick spinning at Kansas this weekend.
well, Joey got himself in trouble because he blew a motor for the first time in 18,000
in
years.
7
That's
years.
what I said.
So-
He's got to win now. I feel like.
Yeah,
Because I just
he's
don't.
just
you
so
know.
far back in points. Kansas, which he won last
Well,
year,
yeah,
at Martinsville,
that's
which he
true.
won
Oh, that's
a couple
right.
years
He
ago.
won a year ago.
Yeah,
so.
he did win at Martinsville. That's right. That was the Truex race.
Yeah,
him
in
and Truex.
2018,
Yeah.
and then last year
Yeah.
going to the Fall Kansas race.
Yeah.
So he
So
has
he's
recent
won
wins at
them
both
both.
tracks.
Yeah, he'll race hard too. He's gonna really.
Oh
race
my goodness!
hard
Put
for-
him in position at
Yeah.
Martinsville, and we'll have a repeat of what
it's-
happened
yeah.
a few years ago.
So he's still got a shot. I feel like these last two races are going to be a lot of fun for a multitude of
Oh, yeah.
reasons.
Well, hopefully Kansas will be because Kansas is typically one of the boring races I think on the circuit. So
Well, I
hopefully
would have
it-
said the same about Texas, but I was pretty
That's
entertained
true.
with
Yeah.
Sunday's race.
Well,
Yeah.
and now you've got so many guys in desperation mode already.
That's why I
And
think
it's
it's gonna-
like it's oh my gosh! You have Truex who had an issue. You have
Oh, that
Logano.
was
just
it.
said Logano,
and then
that hit was
Keselowski's just
brutal.
about in must win. He's
Right.
I think 15 points back.
and Chase is just underneath. I mean, he still sees some light above the cut line, but he's it's still it's going to be a lot of intense racing over the next 2 weeks because there's a lot of guys that need to race intensely.
No, we talked about Truex, and man, that hit that he took,
Ooh.
brutal.
Gosh,
Sure was.
the way the wall, you could see the
Mhm.
Thank God we have those safer barriers now because
It was interesting too because I wasn't like I saw the replay, but I was listening to the TV because I was working at my computer, and did I hear that Suarez was the one that kind of helped that happen, and then basically said,
Well-
I don't care."
Well, Suarez just held his line, and Truex just kind of came down into him. Suarez was right at the bottom. Through
Okay.
the
Yeah,
He overcorrected it.
Suarez
Okay.
said, "I was there. It's too late in the race to back out."
Okay.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
that's-
Okay.
And Suarez did, for what it's worth, get a top 10 out of it.
He
It only
did,
like
yeah.
his fourth top 10 of the year.
Impressive.
And
Yep.
it shows you how much
Martin got a pancake.
It shows you how mature of a driver Martin Truex is because he was calm. Like even you could tell he was mad, but he was all calm. And they're like, "What are you going to do now?" He's like, "Well, win." I mean, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do at this
They
point.
don't call
I just
the
have to win.
elimination race Martinsville for nothing.
It's true. I mean, he's
Yeah, he was a guy who
Gibbs
was
has to
like
figure it out.
for whatever at short tracks, and all of a sudden he won like
Yeah,
8
since
out
20,
of 9 or
since
something.
2019, he
Yeah.
can't lose at a short track.
Well, we talked about that because Noah and I were talking about every time that either he went to the track or I turned on the race a couple years ago. It was Martin Truex that won every week. And I'm like, all right, I'm done watching NASCAR. This is ridiculous. Now it's Kyle Larson, but I actually like I like Truex too, but Larson's one of my favorites, so I don't mind if he wins all the time. Speaking of Larson and his teammate Chase Elliott, him and NASCAR and Kevin Harvick had a little picnic lunch over the weekend. Well, earlier in the week,
A very quick lunch.
It was very
modern
quick.
picnic lunch. It was a Zoom call.
It was a Zoom call where NASCAR basically said, "Knock it off," and then
And
a bunch of other things after that. But it was all
That's
NASCAR
about-
talking, and it didn't seem to do any good. It did in terms of on-track activity, but behind the scenes and in interviews, Harvick. It seems like Chase is kind of let it whatever it is
Chase
what it
is
is,
over
but.
it.
Harvick just can't seem to let it go.
It's interesting because I think Chase is over it too. But then you have Harvick post-race yesterday that's like, I don't know why he's still worried about it and stuff. And it's like, dude, you're the one that wrecked him.
Well, and he
again,
was the one that was
Like-
complaining about Chase being so involved in it.
Right.
And now he's the one that won't let it go.
carrying it on.
Yeah.
And basically saying, that he needed to take what was in the 5 car and put it in his car and he'd be a little faster.
Not to mention Chase had moved past it before the Roval, you know?
Chase told media before Las Vegas the week after Bristol that he was just here to run his race, not worry about the 4 car.
Yeah, I think Kevin's getting old and crotchety.
Yeah.
Time to retire.
He's got to stir something up because it won't be in victory lane this
I mean,
year.
his kid, it's like you'd think that he'd want to just set a better example for the kid because the kid's racing now, and it's like, really, Kevin? I mean,
What's crazy is they're selling Keelan Harvick T-shirts now. I think they're making a Keelan Harvick diecast too, which is insane.
which I think is perfectly cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just I just don't understand Kevin just carrying it on. It's like, dude, let it go.
Well, he's going to be upset now that, because I know Keelan runs go-karts, and so does Brexton. So Brexton seems to get more of the publicity for driving go-karts than Keelan does. So.
I would imagine Kevin's probably okay with that, though. It's hard to be, I think, Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch or whoever and go to a place like Millbridge, and just be there with your kid because everybody wants to talk to you. Right. Yeah, like it's just, I get that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you see now a number of times that those kids have to go to the racetrack while their dads are also racing. Yep. So, and I think that while some may say, "Oh, it's unfortunate that they can't be there," it actually may help those kids without in a way not having dad kind of having to be pulled away at every second or trying to get pulled away at every second. So that's an interesting concept.
And probably there's some element at least of not having dad sort of micro picking at everything. You know what I mean? Jesse, your dad used to race. When you started racing, how much did your dad kind of get in the middle of that, or did you always have a crew chief that kind of handled that for you?
No, for a while my dad was my crew chief, actually.
Oh, wow.
My dad, he raced quarter midgets when he was younger. He ran some sprint cars when he got out of law school and everything like that. But yeah, he was, my dad's, I think a relatively really smart guy at the end of the day.
He is.
He did everything he needed to do for a while to give me the best race cars, and then when I got to about, Focus midgets, that's when I got a crew chief, Trace Van Dyne. But, I think that my dad was...
a crew chief.
Yeah, I know. My dad was, really involved with my racing. He still is today. It's a little bit different with me being away from home, but he was really hands-on. But at the same time, he was also hands-off when he needed to be. So, I can go to the racetrack right now and, just absolutely do something completely ridiculous and or not run well. And he has a maturity to kind of just not talk to me for about 2 days, let me calm down, and then he'll come and talk to me. So that's an aspect of my development that I would not want to give up, and I can definitely see how your parent or who is at the racetrack with you would affect the kid's performance a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way in dirt racing. My dad was my crew chief. My mom was the one that was in the stands going, "He's not going to drive anymore after this."
Aren't dads the best crew chiefs? Whenever the car's not good, it's like, "Oh, okay, you got to drive better."
Well, the problem with my dad, because there was a 15, 20-year difference between my dad driving and me. So my dad kept doing things on the car that was 1982. Dad, it's not 1980. You can't do that anymore. This is, first of all, this is not even a safety aspect anymore. But so we had to, we clashed a little bit on, what to do about the car. But
boy, you drive it and I'll fix it.
That's it. Well, it was more wrecking than whatever. Anyway, but you talk about Millbridge, and it's funny because when for me coming from Texas and coming here, moving here, you come from outside and you kind of think, no matter where you go, when you're in town, you're going to see NASCAR drivers at the grocery store and at the convenience store, or whatever. And I don't. I don't go to those places anyways, but I probably would if I did. But going to Millbridge, guys like Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, they're always there helping Brexton or, helping drivers out with their cars, or their go-karts in this case. But it's like a natural thing for those guys. Like the people that go to Millbridge all the time know that Kyle's going to be there, know that Kurt's going to be there, and they leave him alone because they see him all the time. But I feel like if you go to, another track somewhere, off of North Carolina and Kyle Busch shows up, I was like, oh my God, Kyle's in the pits. And they're all going to run in and try to get his autograph.
It's kind of like the same way with country music stars in Nashville. Like you think they go to the grocery store, and I saw this video the other day. I don't know why. It was just a video that was on my page I was scrolling through, and it was Reba, and she said that she got seen in the grocery store. She asked some lady where the sugar was, and the lady's like, "Hey, are you Reba?" And she's like, "Yeah." And the fan was like, "Oh, that's cool. Well, it's down to mile 3,
Right. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, okay, exactly. That's great, but I don't know.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, you're right though. People think, if you live here, everybody knows I'm from up north, and Regan Smith that's where he started his career, is about 30 minutes from where I lived. And so I've known Regan since he started his career, and all the people up there will go, so, do you get to hang out with Regan a lot? It's like, no, the last time I saw Regan Smith was about 2 or 3 years ago at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I was running one way to get an interview, and he was running the other way to get an interview, and it was like, hey, Regan, what's up? Hey, Tom, how you doing? And that was it.
Right,
it's
exactly.
like, you just don't.
It's actually not true. We saw him at 2019 at Charlotte.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Fact
okay.
check.
So maybe it was. So, but again, the point remains. It's not like, we go out to dinner twice a month
Right.
or whatever.
So it's what you think. When you talk to people outside of North Carolina or whatever, you think, oh, you're in NASCAR country. That means you must see them all the time.
Yeah.
No, I really don't. Like, I mean, even if they pass by me, I don't even know that I would even acknowledge them half the time because I'm so busy doing.
Well, the other thing is I've read enough stories about stars kind of getting uncomfortable with the idea.
Yeah.
You go out to have dinner with your family. You don't want people,
Right.
that I would be respectful enough to probably not. Or if anything, I mean, I did see Kyle Busch one time at a restaurant near on the lake, and it was basically I just said, "Hi, Kyle, how you doing?" And he said hi back, and that was it.
Right.
You just don't. You shouldn't. But that's people want.
Some people are crazy.
They want.
Jesse, do you have any
selfie.
crazy fan stories?
No, but a little bit. Like as far as to add on to Tom's point, I personally see a lot of NASCAR drivers whenever I'm walking around, especially in Mooresville. I'm living in Mooresville now. I just got a house, but I was like, if anybody knows where El Cerro is, El Cerro is like this Mexican restaurant, right? Not the best, Mexican food ever.
It's kind of a hole in the wall,
right? Yeah, but I mean, I'm having dinner with my friends one night, and Brad Keselowski just walks by, button down shirt and everything with his whole family, and I was just kind of like, why is he at El Cerro race? I was so dang confused, right? But like Tom said, you kind of have to have the respect and just had not go and be like, hey man, how you doing? Whatever, how you doing?
Yeah, can I have a selfie?
At the same time, you got to respect their family and everything. But no, I don't have many fan stories, really, to be honest with you.
They'll come. They'll come. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You'll get
enjoying it well.
You'll have the stories of this one time I signed this person's fill in the blank because somebody's always going to ask you to sign something weird. But
I read this story about a writer one time that was thankful. He said, "I'm just well known enough to get a great table at a restaurant. I'm not well enough known to be hounded for my autograph." That's interesting.
I had the weirdest experience in Charlotte last weekend where someone DM'd me to get a picture, and I was like, okay.
I'd be careful about DMs and pictures. I'd be a little weary about what kind of a picture they're
I'm on
asking
pit
for.
road in front of William Byron's car. Can I take a picture with you?
Jack Wood will be here next week. We'll get an update on
no
this Tinder
value
account.
in this.
Yeah. We'll step aside and take a break before the show gets any more out of control. When we come back, I want to talk about sponsorship longevity because there's a sponsor that just re-signed, and I think it's worth noting about because it's a long-term sponsorship deal. And it kind of, begs the question about, what do you guys think is the most iconic sponsor in NASCAR history? So we'll talk about that when we come back. Our show is presented by mycomputercareer.edu. What? Training for a better life? It's like everybody's looking around like something's going on. Anyway, we will take a break, and we will be right back with more show right after this.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend
Carolina School of Broadcasting.
The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider, complete motorcycle air suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider air shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider motorcycle air suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Jeff Burton, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
So I guess, Peter, me and you are going to be the only ones doing the show right now because no one else is ready to go.
I guess so, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Noah was showing me the picture of the he has a groupie.
Wow.
The groupie that asked him to get a selfie with him
at
Charlotte.
My price is going up. Just so you know, I'm going to be
Up
over
to
here
10
signing.
cents from 5 cents?
No, I think it went from free to 5 cents. I don't think it's jumped
From
up
a
to 10
nickel
cents
to a
yet.
dime.
Yeah.
Nickel to a dime.
Hey,
Welcome
that's
back.
every stacking pennies, man. Or nickels.
Last time, Noah went around for a while like begging people to do selfies, and they're all like, "I don't give a dime." So now he's charging a dime.
He
doesn't give a dime.
He stood outside the studio for hours with no cars passing by, trying to get change from absolutely no one. He out in the field with a stick, trying to get a dime on a stick, and knowing that it would poke through the dime. But anyway, welcome back to the show.
By the way, hello.
Lord, what?
By the way, hello.
Yeah, well, Jesse lives in the studio too.
Yes,
hopefully he'll save us at some point. What?
Well, then we were having a discussion too, really quickly, about Murdoch and how he was following me and Peter around.
Well, wait a minute, because the story that he tells is that y'all were following him.
No.
Now you're saying
See, this is false.
One of you is lying.
And he doesn't have a microphone right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he could run over there, but he's got to hit buttons in a second. So he doesn't have
Jesse's
a
got the
microphone,
producer's mic tonight, so
Yeah.
Chris can't talk unless he runs over and grabs Peter's microphone.
I thought he wanted a picture. Really is.
Maybe I was going to say
he doesn't give a dime. No,
yeah, he probably doesn't. He probably does not.
So John Hunter got a win.
John Hunter did get a win, and I believe I picked him, and everybody thought I was crazy for picking somebody that wasn't.
Crazy.
Well, I think of myself as crazy.
Anyone in the 54 has a good shot at a win,
right? Ty is in it this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But
Could go the same way.
Maybe
knowing that,
probably.
Maybe so. It's won more times than anybody else, except for I think AJ this year. The 54 car has won, no matter who's in the car, so that's always a good thing.
This is the 54's 10th win of the year.
There you go, and it's AJ's 6th, right? So,
yeah,
it's
AJ
won more times
6.
than AJ. All right, so when we come back from break, I got a message earlier from somebody who Noah's about to be in trouble.
No.
So yeah, we'll.
Was it Noah's fanboy?
No, it's no. He's in some serious trouble. So when we come back, we'll tell you exactly what happened and why he's in trouble when we come back. This is the Inside Pass, and we will be right back.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hey, this is Jeremy Clements, driver of the number 51, and you're listening to Inside Pass.
You know, before the break, I teased Noah being in some serious trouble, but I feel like we need to pay some bills first, so he can wait another 2 minutes and 45 seconds to find out why he's in trouble. Is that cool?
Okay.
Yeah. So what?
It's not my bills that I'm in trouble.
Well, no, it's not
right?
your bills, but you're still in trouble. Anyway, so our show is presented by mycomputercareer.edu, which Noah's clearly needed a couple of times tonight.
Yeah.
Because he's been gone for 2 weeks. How exactly would Noah go about learning how to say intelligence?
Let me know, Tom.
Well, it's very easy. You just go to the website. That's all you do, mycomputercareer.edu, and you take the free career evaluation test. And if you would like to pursue a career in IT, My Computer Career is exactly the place to do it. Here's how this works. You can get financial aid, first of all, if you qualify, including the GI Bill. Then, once you start your training, you train just 1 to 2 days a week online. That's it. You don't even have to visit one of their campuses anymore. And when you're ready to go out into the workforce, they work with hundreds of employers to get you placed, and they offer lifetime job assistance. So if something happens to the company that you're working with, and you need another job, they will help you to find another job. So lifetime job assistance, which is a big deal in this day and age. And there is still far more demand for qualified IT professionals across the country and the world than there is a supply of them for the jobs that are available. So that's good for you. So you could be in 4 to 6 months on your way to a better life. So visit mycomputercareer.edu. It is training for a better life, and visit their nonprofit that they are working with as well, helpingheroes.org. They do some amazing things with our servicemen and women and first responders. So go visit that website as well and check that out.
All right, and your very first lesson is how to say intelligence.
That's correct. Yes.
So when we come back from break, I will tell Noah why he's in trouble because I feel like he deserves to know. Although the suspense, I'm sure, is killing him.
Yeah.
We'll also have an update on a couple of guest announcements that we have coming up, Fantasy NASCAR as well, which is going pretty good, although Noah forgot to pick this week, so he got...
At least the Xfinity race.
Yeah, he did get the pickup race. But, and of course, we'll have more news about everything going on in the motorsports world. We'll be back with more of the second hour of the show right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
I'm Corey LaJoy, driver of anything I can get my hands on, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass, the second hour of our show. Randy Miller, Tom Baker, Peter, and Noah are here. Jesse Love is in the studio co-hosting our show for us tonight, and Chris is pushing buttons for us. So a couple breaks ago, I told Noah that he was in some serious trouble. I don't know what you did, Noah, but you have a Gaston County officer looking for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what you did.
No, I got to get out of here.
Well, he won't be here for another 3 weeks, so... But I'm sure you probably didn't hear the show, so you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I don't. What's happening?
There is an Arco West racer, and Jesse may have actually raced with him, I believe.
Oh, the one that was the sheriff's?
Caleb Costner.
Caleb Costner. Yeah, he's gonna come be a co-host on our show November 1st.
Yes.
So. We're looking forward to that. He has a really unique story. We talked about it a little bit last week on the show, but he is an active Gaston County sheriff, and I guess his part-time gig is running races, and so he got to run the Arco West race in California 2 weeks ago.
Gaston County is in...
It's Gastonia, so...
Yeah, kind of
West
South
Charlotte.
Yeah, little... Yeah. Okay,
he has a dirt car.
This is not his jurisdiction.
Down near where Carol...
That's what I'm hearing, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes,
you
are in the
just
clear.
making sure.
We are Iredell County, not Gaston
Now, that's
County,
not to say he won't call people in.
Yes,
but
I'm sure he has many friends.
Yeah.
I will take a rain check.
Behave, or he'll call in reinforcements.
Friends in the racing world too.
I've already used my free passes.
Yeah.
He finished 14th in his ARCA debut, so not a bad start.
It was
for
a
his career.
great start.
But got a really cool story, so I invited him to come, and he's going to come and co-host with us.
He's a good guy. You guys will enjoy him. He's really cool.
He seems like he's a really
him?
cool guy.
Yeah.
You met him?
Know him pretty well.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, he runs pro late models too, and so he's definitely a racing guy, and it'll be fun. It's always, we like to bring kind of the unique stories to you guys that you won't hear or see on any other shows, and Caleb is definitely an example of that. We're excited to have him.
We're trying to butter him up, so if we ever get arrested in Gaston County, we all have to
You can go back to this.
Have a free pass out of town.
I've been in Mike jail for most of the show. While I can put Noah there, but I'm forced there because Jesse's here.
Yeah.
But I actually have a question for Jesse, because we have been talking about, his relationship with Bill and Venturini, but all of that's possible because of the relationship you have with the people over at Toyota. What has that relationship meant to you, and how's it been, being a part of their Toyota racing development?
Yeah, well, as far as everybody goes, like TRD's been the biggest part of my career since I've been about 11 years old, 12 years old.
How old now?
16 now. Okay. So, I mean, I was their youngest driver when I got signed on with them, and I've been with them ever since and plan on being with them all the way to Cup. So they've been great to me. They gave me great opportunities to, prove that I can do it, and that's all I can ask for. That's all a driver can really ask for, is just to have the opportunity and be in a situation where you can work hard and show results. And I die hard for them and TRD and everybody, and really loyal to them. So it's been really good with working with them. I feel like I'm a priority over there, and I feel wanted, and I work really hard for them, and they work really hard for me. So it's a great relationship.
But for our audience that doesn't understand what that relationship looks like, give some examples of how Toyota helps you and things that you get to do or whatever because of that program.
Well, I feel like all my bases are covered from a day-to-day basis, from a week-to-week basis every year. So, like, every morning I can go work out at the Toyota Performance Center. I have a lot of sim time. I can work with all my trainers and nutritionists and all the sim specialists. If I want to learn about aero, I can go to the TRD office, you can call it, and talk to those engineers. So I guess the best way I can put it is they take care of me to where every question I need asked, or every question I need to ask, can be answered. I can always talk to people, and I can always be bettering myself in every aspect that a driver needs to better themselves at. So it's great. Basically every aspect that a driver needs to have in their day-to-day life, I have because of Toyota. So I don't know how many other drivers can say that. And I feel like Toyota's, as far as that goes, by far the only manufacturer that's really like that.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, you did mention you're 16. And I know for me personally, I started covering races when I was 15, and then I started covering them in person when I was 17. And something that I always and still find to be a challenge is balancing that with schoolwork and school life, because that obviously is a priority as well. So talk about, the stuff, how you do your school and what that's like.
Yeah, so when I got out of 8th grade and I was getting into high school, I know I needed to make a switch because I was missing 15 days of trimester.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty ridiculous. So had to get a different school program going, and I got with On Track, which is a online high school that's pretty much made just for racers. To be honest with you, I know a lot of sprint car racers that are going through the program. Drivers that you guys have had on the show apparently are doing that program.
Yeah. Who are some of the guys? We'll tell you.
I thought you said that there was.
Oh well, there is Connor Zillich who runs Trans Am is involved in that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And motocross riders and stuff like that. So it's been a great program, and it matches me. It's a lot of work because my dad wants me to get a good education, but at the same time, it's manageable, and I can do what I need to be doing.
You can do it around your racing schedule,
100%,
right? Yeah. That's the big
and
advantage.
anywhere you're always on the move, so it can go with you right in your
exactly. I
travel.
mean, it's pretty much all my computer, whether it be like Google Classroom or something like that. So it's working great for me recently, and I'm enjoying it.
So are you a junior?
Yes, sir.
Junior in high school. Yep. So one more year. And then are you thinking about college at all or just racing?
No, I think that, as hard it is to make it to Cup on its own, I feel like it's hard to split your time between college and stuff like that. So not really planning on it. Probably just going to go to college at Racers University, I guess.
Sprint Cup Tech.
Yeah, Spring Cup Tech. Yeah,
Spring Cup Tech.
So some good guys have graduated from that college, so
Yes.
you wouldn't be in the minority there.
Yeah.
So I want to revert for a second back to, we were talking about John Hunter Nemechek and
Yes.
how he won the Xfinity race over the weekend. He also signed a brand new deal to go back to KBM next year and drive the truck full-time in 2022, and I think that kind of eliminates one of the rides that we thought might be available over at Gibbs for the Xfinity Series side, because we thought he was going to move up.
Well, it doesn't eliminate the ride. It just
Right,
makes
eliminates
it more
his
intriguing.
chance for the ride.
Eliminates his candidacy.
We thought that he would, because there are going to be 3 cars open in Gibbs's Xfinity stable, and we believe that obviously Ty's going to be in one of them full time,
Correct.
which is probably the 18, right? So the 20 and the 54 will then both be open to whatever Gibbs wants to do with them.
From what I've heard, the 54 may not run at all next year, if only part-time, and
okay.
the 19, Brandon Jones, will return.
Yes, we know Brandon will return. So the 20 then becomes the open seat, because we believe Ty will be in the 18, but that's not been made official. We're just guessing. But he'll be in one of them. So that leaves one open. And the interesting thing is there's not an obvious choice to fill it. There's not somebody, we thought maybe it would be John Hunter, but Toyota's got kind of this little gap there where you got drivers like Jesse who are, a couple years away, and there's nobody obvious ready to slide in there, where they were, so, and so there's that ride. And then, there's rumors about, the 10 in the Cup Series being open as well, because there's rumors Arik might be out. So if that happens, that would be another one where there's not necessarily an obvious choice. So it's just interesting to see everything that's going on. You got 2 Rick Ware cars now. That are,
there's a couple of drivers that have been tied to those cars, which we can talk about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff open, but the Gibbs Xfinity program, we'll have to see what happens there, because unless you move like a Chandler Smith up, you're not. There's not an obvious candidate yet.
I mean, that's a particular ride and car that you pretty much it's the cream of the crop. So you can pretty much handpick anybody you want to be in that car. Noah, what was your thought, Noah?
Well, I was going to say that, we don't know quite yet about Eric, but he has said that they're in the closing stages, and he does expect
Oh, good.
Smith?
Okay.
Right.
All right.
He said that ever since the New Hampshire win.
Okay.
Yeah.
That it's just a matter of conversations with contracts and stuff.
Almirola's situation is different because Smithfield is a year-to-year contract because it's a Chinese company, and so you have to make time for those kind of sponsorship things.
They've had some movements at the top, too.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to step aside, take a break. Speaking of sponsorship, I want to get you guys' thoughts on what you guys think is the most iconic sponsorship in NASCAR history. There's a reason behind that, and we'll talk about that when we come back. More of the Inside Pass is coming up next.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer to fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
When Marlon Shirley was 5 years old, he was in an accident and lost his foot, but he didn't lose his heart.
When you tackle a challenge that you just cannot even fathom tackling, when you accomplish that, the amount of integrity and the will and the heart that you'll get from that experience is what will set you up for your life.
In less time than it took Marlon Shirley to say that, he can now run 100 meters because today he's the world's fastest amputee. Overcoming. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hello, race fans. This is Chris Wright. Thanks for listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Chris is set to join us next week, and hopefully he will be calling in on the phone. But we will have an in-studio guest, and I'm kind of excited because I want a Tinder update from Jack.
Jack Wood
know what's going
Yes,
on.
Jack is going to be here next week.
We had Jack on. For those of you who listen to this show every week, we had Jack on a few weeks ago, and we had Jack with Howie DeSavino, and I asked the two of them if you could only keep 3 apps on your phone, and that was all you could keep. Which 3 would you keep? And Jack mentioned Tinder as one of the 3 apps, and we were all just kind of like, what?
Have you ever asked Jesse that one?
No,
and I almost wonder if I would know his answer, but okay, we'll throw it out there. So if you could only keep 3 apps on your phone, that's all you can keep. You got to get rid of the rest. Which 3 are you keeping?
That's a hard one. Probably just the phone call app.
Phone call.
I think that comes on the phone. I think we're
okay,
talking more about
outside apps,
like social
apps that you have
media,
downloaded.
Okay. Race monitor. Race
Good
monitor.
answer.
Does Safari count or no? Safari.
No, that
counts.
comes with
your phone.
Yeah.
Twitter. So I
Okay,
can keep up
there's 2.
with Bob Hawker's opinion on me. And I care about that greatly. And I don't know, probably the Speed 51 app,
there.
yeah. And the Speed 51 app, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I mean, I was gonna say you wouldn't say Tinder like Jack Wood did because you're in a relationship, but
So was
Jack
Wood.
Yeah, so was he.
That was Howie's like. Howie was like, you have a girlfriend. Like, how is that?
Did Jack really say that?
He did. He said he's not deleting Tinder.
He's mad at me right now after Bristol.
Oh man,
I want to know that story too.
He's
'cause
probably
he's going to be here next week.
Probably mad at me too for asking him the question.
I asked him about
Keep
that.
bringing
Ask him
it
if
up.
he's still mad at me.
I will. We
when he comes
definitely
on.
will.
Yeah, we'll put that. We'll put that question.
Yeah,
And then we'll unexpectedly bring you both in on one night.
Right,
and
exactly.
settle it out here.
Well, he's mad at me because apparently I cut his tire down at Bristol.
Oh, did you?
Well, we were contesting a spot. I was upset because I shouldn't have been running back there, and I run up under him under caution just to contest a spot. And he was like trying to grab me down in the apron, so I just go up and kind of cut his tire down, and they got upset about it. Tyler Mon was like about to pick a fight with my spotter.
If only they could have come 1 week early this time, because you wanted Howie and Jack.
Howie and Jack had beef, but apparently it wasn't big enough to start a fight.
Right.
So
it was too old of beef.
Yeah, it was too old of beef. Yeah, it was age of
I like
beef.
Tyler too because he spots for Kyle. I was kind of like bummed out about that. Yeah.
I still want to know more about the Pocris thing. Like that. That's.
I just think Bob's the coolest guy ever.
It's funny what he mentioned about Parkus. I think as soon as Talladega adds lights, he's going to retire because he won't have any need to be on Twitter anymore because that's the question he gets all the time.
No, but like as far as Bob's deal goes, like for me, he put me high up in one of his rankings, and kind of like and I really appreciated that a lot. Yeah, I really did. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well,
He's
let's.
a great guy.
He is a great guy. He wished me a happy birthday last week.
Did he really?
Really?
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, he
I
usually
hope you
wishes
know
me.
I'm going to clip this out and tag Bob on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just so
I
he
love
knows
you,
that-
Bob.
Yeah, just-
Hey, why not?
Bob's a great guy. He really is.
That's what we're here for. All right, let's do fantasy NASCAR. The standings are right here. Hang on 1 second. Let me pull them out from underneath my microphone. Let's see. Peter is still leading. Noah did lose a little bit of points because somebody failed to pick their picks before the race, halfway through the Xfinity race.
You're welcome for reminding you.
Yeah.
On Monday.
Yeah. No,
Peter,
Monday,
by the way.
I think Peter actually did that purposefully. That he waited
would hope so.
He waited until just after the green flag to say, "Don't forget your Xfinity pick."
No,
and I know it's my responsibility.
No, I said it before the green flag.
Well, I didn't say anything.
You? Yeah, I did.
I don't know.
I didn't say anything because I know he texted you while we were doing the show.
Yeah, I was driving.
Right, and you never responded.
But I missed that. I forgot about it.
6 days later, you finally respond.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then Seth didn't pick it all.
Short,
so
too.
Seth, Chris is now ahead of Seth in standing. So we go to Kansas this weekend. Xfinity and Yeah, you were by like 10
yeah,
points.
Chris was straight. Yeah, you were. Now he's
So
ahead
now
of
you're
him.
just
That's
gonna move
good.
up one
Okay,
spot.
so because
And you'll be
Seth
good.
forgot his picks last week too.
And Chris is only behind Tom by like 23 points. So
This is
it's
scary.
conceivably
How far
possible.
am I back from Peter? Is it a big gap?
Like 60 points or something like that. So 70 points ish. All right, so we go to Kansas this weekend, Xfinity and Cup. So since Noah was gone last week, he gets to pick first this week. So
well, Peter, I'm going to first say this: don't pick who I pick because we need to be on different.
No promises there.
We need to be on different drivers so that I can. All right, so this week I am going to pick for Xfinity. I'm going to say Noah Gragson for Xfinity, and for Cup I am going to go with Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. All right, Peter, you.
I don't know if I like that.
For Xfinity, I guess I'll go Allmendinger, and for Cup, I'm liking Denny Hamlin's chances at Kansas again.
All right, Tom.
Okay, so for Xfinity, I will pick. I think I'm going to stick with Allmendinger as well, and for Cup, I believe what I see: Kyle Larson.
Somebody's about to pick Larson. All right, Chris is picking AJ and Chase. All right, hang on one second.
Chris doesn't have a mic, so he wrote his picks on a piece of paper and showed them.
Whatever works. And then for me, I'm picking Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity Series because the 54 car is hot. Chase.
Chase, okay.
And then I'm picking Larson too in the Cup Series because come on.
I almost want to go for it.
Let's not be foolish here. Let's
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Larson did lead a ton of the Kansas race in the spring, but then Kyle Busch came in and won it late. The Bushy McBush race where Busch won.
I will say this: we all better watch the 22. Because Joey's going to be...
He's a man on a mission.
He's got to be a man on a mission, and I think he's going to be extra aggressive the next couple of weeks.
I was
surprised Chris didn't pick Joey, because that's
he's changing his Cup pick.
Yeah, see,
he's picking
Joey now. See, well,
influence, peer pressure.
Yeah, and he has to because if he's going to make up ground on me, he can't pick the same guy I do.
It's true.
So you got to pick somebody different, right?
That is very true.
It's funny you mentioned Joey Logano at Kansas because today is the 6-year anniversary of him and Kenseth getting together in the playoff race in 2015, and we all know what that led to Martinsville.
You know what? I think I'll change my pick to Kyle Larson. I'm going to change it. Because I feel like I got better odds against Peter with Larson than I do with Busch.
Probably. I mean,
so I'm gonna go with Larson instead.
Probably the week that you Rex now.
Speaking of which, did you see Denny Hamlin? I'm sorry to cut you off, but did you see Denny and Chase Briscoe's continuous beef that they had?
It seems like Denny has a beef with everybody.
Yeah.
And apparently he
I think he was still mad.
Gluck asked him about his charter for 2311, and he got out of bit out of shape about that too.
A very
very
explicit comment.
Then he needs some happy pills.
Yeah, well, he told Chase Briscoe, you already wrecked me out of one championship, and now you're gonna with the regular season championship that was on the line after their get together at Indy Road Course when Chase came back on. And
wasn't the only person that Chase got involved with. Well, I guess Denny got hit twice by Chase Chase Briscoe, didn't he? Because when he involved in the second wreck too, where he tore up the front end of his car.
Oh yeah. Yep,
so
that was
twice.
those two. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. I don't think Chase Briscoe's not the guy to ever really hunt anybody down and do anything to him, but it was a pretty bold comment for Hamlin to make, saying that basically he might not have long in this sport, and that that's why he's not running well and all that all that sort of
Well,
stuff.
there was one of the wrecks. It was like, I don't know what he's doing, and it's like, he's racing. That's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do. Like, Denny practically put him in the wall.
It's called
It's
NASCAR.
like,
Get
you
over
can't,
it.
Well, it's just crazy.
Speaking
to
of
me.
Denny Hamlin, I mean, obviously he's had FedEx for a really long time as a sponsor.
He has.
And so
Still does.
Kind of begs the question. The reason why we asked this, Interstate Batteries just signed an extension with Joe Gibbs Racing, which has now put them at over 30 years with the same organization, dating back to Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Busch. It goes on and on and on. So earlier in the show, I asked the panel to kind of think about what they think is the most iconic paint scheme, or I guess sponsor, in NASCAR history. And so we'll get answers. Jesse, you can hop in if you feel like there's a sponsor that you. Or I guess a combination of sponsor / paint scheme that you feel like is iconic to you.
Well, I think as far as paint scheme goes, obviously number 3 is gonna be the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
So Good Wrench, and you got some like STP with Richard Petty and things like that. But as far as my favorite, probably the Napa sponsorship with Chase. That obviously gives me motivation and makes me.
I was going to say, not biased or anything, are we?
Right? Of course not. No.
Interstate Batteries.
Yeah.
All right. And even Chris picked Interstate Batteries as a iconic sponsorship. Noah, what about you?
It's so hard because there's so many good ones. But I'm gonna pick in thoughts of what I like, to see the car, how it's designed, and all that. And I've always liked the Hooters paint schemes. And I don't know. I mean, they've been around for a while now, and so I just genuinely I feel like they've not really disappointed me very much with paint schemes.
I like the Night Owl one that they.
The Night Owl one is
really
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Something funny about Hooters is they have not gone to victory lane in the Cup race since Alan Kulwicki. We saw a couple weeks ago the McDonald's curse end, but the Hooters curse is even longer. So hope Chase gets a win in the Night Owl car and sometime.
Peter,
soon.
what about you? What do you think is the most iconic?
I was going to say Richard Petty and STP, but just to be different, I'll go, of course, Jeff Gordon and DuPont, just because of how long he was successful in that car, whether it was the Rainbow or the Flames, and he really led NASCAR's rise in popularity to become such a globally recognized sport.
I agree. Tom?
I mean, I think you'd have to say STP and Richard, but I think if we could talk about, like, there have been some sponsors that I think are just funny, and I think maybe one of the funniest ever in Cup was way back in the day when Sterling Marlin was still in the early part of his career, and he had, I think it was called Underalls. It was a women's hosiery.
Yeah.
It
was like a purple car, or a pink car.
Pink car.
Like yeah,
it was a pink car.
car.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, wait, what?
So
that's just bizarre.
For me, I think the two that stick out in my mind is obviously Lowe's and Jimmy Johnson as being a long-term sponsorship, and then Kellogg's and Terry Labonte. Because I feel like that's the Kellogg's cornflakes.
You know what
car.
other one I like too is from back in the day is Kelly Girl. Janet Guthrie's that green Kelly Girl 68. Those cars were really cool looking.
Yeah. Those are definitely some icon, and there's plenty more. Home Depot and Tony Stewart. Which, speaking of Tony Stewart, when we come back, we got a little bit of time left. I want to talk about Tony's new venture because that's going to be quite the interesting.
Should do a sponsor show over the winter. We talk about sponsors.
Dale Jr. with the Budweiser.
We will have plenty of time to do that.
Mountain Dew.
We will step aside, take a break. We will come right back with more right after this.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer to fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorcustomtrailers.com.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chase Elliott, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Randy Miller, Tom Baker, and Peter and Noah are here. As always, it feels good to have the whole team back together again.
It does.
Sorry.
Well, no, it just, I mean, as much as we pick on you, we do miss you when you're not here because we have to pick on each other, and that's just not fun. So it's much better.
I'm in microphone jail.
Exactly.
Always to microphone jail I go.
Jesse Love is also still with us, as co-host for the evening, and Chris is
We
pushing
haven't
buttons.
scared him off yet.
So we were talking about crashes during the break, and Chris had asked Jesse if he had had any bad crashes during the course of his career so far, and I guess you have a statistic that you really don't want to be a statistic, or I guess a memorable moment that probably you wish you didn't have. But you said something about flipping out of
Yeah, we were at Jacksonville. It was my second race for Keith. And,
Illinois.
Yeah, and I podiumed my first ever power race, and it was the week following or the week or two following, and hot laps, went and took the green. I don't remember much, but I remember taking the green out of turn 4, went into turn 1, 4 above the curb, and just wrecked that thing. I mean, apparently I went out of the park, and apparently I was the only person to do that, so...
Wow.
I mean, I don't remember much, but that's just what my friends told me and everybody that was watching. I remember Tanner Thorson picking me up on the quad afterwards, and he was like, "Dude, what were you doing?" Like, I mean, it was the first lap practice or hot laps, and I went 4 above the curb, and I remember getting into the corner.
Hang on, for the audience, what does that mean when you say 4 above the curb?
So he was already He was already on the other side of the wall.
I mean, do you think I was Kyle Larson? I mean, you have a cushion, which is a bunch of dirt buildup that you can put your right rear tire on and give you some side bite and some drive. But above it is like some more marbles, but it can be new moisture and dirt. For some unknown reason, I decided. I mean, it was my second midget race, so I had some bright idea just to sail down there on the top and do that, and I never did that again.
I bet you didn't.
Not the right sport to be hit out of the park.
Exactly.
You are doing something extra wild.
I ran third that night, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, I ran third that night.
Wow.
It's cool. Backup car.
You're doing something extra wild and crazy when Tanner Thorson asks you what in the world were you doing.
No kidding.
Because that guy is, if there's something that's wild and crazy in an open wheel car, he's done it at least twice.
Yeah. Great driver.
He really is. He's a great guy, too. But he is just nuts, man. He has no fear whatsoever. Tanner doesn't.
Speaking of nuts, well, I mean,
is this the Planters Peanut promotion?
No. I was thinking about Tony Stewart.
Holy cashews, Batman.
Tony Stewart decided to wake up one day and go, "Hey, I'm going to start an NHRA team." Now, granted,
Well, it's funny that you say that.
Well, right. I mean,
he woke up and rolled over and then looked at who he started that team for.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Hang on. He didn't do that because he's nuts. He did it because he's getting
in love.
married.
Yeah, he's in love. That's why he did it.
Something to do with nuts.
But anyway, yes, Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart is where's the one? No, where? Yeah, I guess I was going to give him the buzzer, but okay, that works too. Anyway, Tony Stewart decided to start an NHRA team. He's got Leah Pruitt as not only his driver but also his fiance. I feel like that's going to be divorce court really quickly.
Gosh,
no.
No,
and then
not with those two.
But he actually did pick a really good driver on the other side, Matt Hagan, which is actually a really good friend of the show. He's going to come on the show, but after the NHRA season's over.
Sweet.
So he's actually a good friend of the show. So. But thoughts? I mean, that's actually out of left field, but also very cool to have a new NHRA team owned by a NASCAR guy. So, Noah, Tom, whoever, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it's great for the sport because first of all, Tony doesn't do anything second class, so it's going to be a first class.
It's going to be John Force-esque.
So that. Yeah, well, yeah, and Tony is John Force, only slightly lower decibel. So,
slightly,
but they're both very passionate guys about what they do. So, no, I think this team has the chance to run for a championship right out of the box. And it's funny because I'm reading John Andretti's book right now that Jay Gerst wrote about, and John was talking about when he was asked to run. The top fuel car that he ran for a year or so, and just being in that mindset of understanding, what John said it was like to do that, and then thinking about Tony possibly getting in and doing that. I think that would be completely insane to see him do some drag racing. And we've got Jesse here in the studio, and Jesse's driven about everything that you can drive at age 16, and a few things maybe you shouldn't. Would you consider, if anybody ever offered you a chance to run an NHRA race, would you get in one of those top fuels or funny cars?
It's definitely not my wheelhouse, but I mean it's something that never really intrigued me that much, but I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah,
I don't turn down much.
Who would turn down going 300 miles an hour, right? I mean,
yeah, easy deal, right?
But yeah, I think it's great. No, I think it's a great for the sport. And to me, it's like the perfect next step for Tony.
Yeah, it is. I mean, anytime you have someone that's influential enough to have so many crossover spaces is really cool for the motorsports industry as a whole, because you have a guy like Tony Stewart who has such a big image in NASCAR, and and then you have this announcement, right? And so how many fans do you think of Stewart's and things like that are going to have interest now in his NHRA deal? And so I love from that standpoint of just fan attraction when we have so many crossovers, Peter, because I mean, it's just, for me, it's I'm even more interested now to see how that team runs.
Well, I grew up with Tony Stewart as my favorite driver, so of course I'll be tuning into more NHRA next year just to see how Matt Hagan and Leah Pruitt do. They're both multi-time champions in their own respective divisions, so I'm expecting that winning pedigree to continue now with TSR.
I feel like there's single drivers everywhere looking for a team owner that wants to shack up just so they can get a ride.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the truth is that in this day and age of the sport, for a while we didn't see a lot of crossover between one division and another, and now it seems like it's getting more prevalent. You're getting a lot of IndyCar, NASCAR. I mean, Michael Andretti owns about one of everything, and they're talking about maybe F1 now with him, and then I've heard NASCAR. It's like.
Well, the coolest part of that is, and you just talked to Jesse about it, you at 16, you've run so many different things.
Yeah.
A lot of these drivers have driven so many things and started at such an early age now to where you see more crossover and you see guys hopping into this car and then hopping into this car on this series and things like that. And I mean, from a motorsports fan aspect, it's really cool because you kind of follow a guy around where he goes. So.
Yep.
Well, Jesse, would you ever consider owning your own team someday? Maybe when your NASCAR career is over?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it depends on what route I want to go to. Open wheel racing is what I started in, and that's been my passion for a long time. But I love super late racing, and super late racing right now is my favorite form of racing. So
what would you call it?
Just JLR. I mean,
JLR.
Probably. I mean, that's probably what or Love Motorsports. I mean, that was my dad's sprint car midget team growing up, or when I was growing up. So I would not turn that opportunity down. I think that's really cool. And I mean, I think kind of what Kyle does depends on how long Kyle's going to do that for, or if he's just not going to stop doing it. I mean, he's put together, the best truck program there is and one of the best super late programs there is. So I would love to do a super late deal like that, and maybe one day.
It seems like a good idea. A lot of drivers are doing that. We talk about like Alex Bowman. We had Alex on a couple months ago.
Yep.
He just started his sprint car team up, and he's running his own thing right now. But I'm sure eventually he's going to want to sprout out and get somebody else to run those cars. Casey King did it with his team.
Mm-hmm.
Started his team when he was still running for Hendrick Motorsports, and now it's a championship winning team. I mean, Brad Sweet's on the verge of winning a second consecutive
Alex
championship.
Bowman has his own deal.
Yeah, that's what we just said.
Oh,
yeah.
did you say that?
Yeah, Bowman has his own deal.
You were misconfused.
Yeah.
But he's back in microphone jail again.
There's more off the top of my head. I can't remember all of them, but
Stenhouse.
Tony Stewart Racing, of course.
Yeah.
Larson used to have his own team with
Mm-hmm.
Justin Marks.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of them. It's kind of fun. Now I know, Jesse, you have said in the past that you would love to run the Indy 500. Is that still on your bucket list?
Wow. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's in my opinion the biggest single race there is, for sure. I'm not sure how many other drivers feel the same way, or if Kyle does, or something like that. But I'm interested to see how he does. I'm sure he'll go run it at some point. I know Penske, Roger dropped the hint a little bit of that at the BC 39, but Indy's the best race ever. So that's in my opinion, at least. So I would love to go do that one day. And
I agree.
But NASCAR's my focus right now, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Steve Phelps, speaking of the future, said in an interview a couple of days ago that he is hoping to have an all-electric NASCAR exhibition series, or hybrid series, by 2024. So I guess the ultimate goal, obviously, is to get NASCAR into like all hybrid by probably 2026 or 2027, but they're wanting to do an exhibition series first to see how it all works out. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, here's the deal. I am not, when it comes to motors and things like that, unlike a lot of fans, like, first of all, I love Formula E. I just do. They put on great races. Now, I know it's bizarre because the cars kind of just sort of whistle around the track and you don't really hear a lot of throaty roar, but I would prefer not to do that, but I mean, it's just the way of the world. So I'm not going to be mad about it. I think NASCAR will do it in a way that will, as long as the racing's good, I think the fans will support it. That's the way I feel about it.
To add on to that too, like I've been waiting for this question all night because of the Dale Jr. download. I was listening to a segment on this. I think Dale brought up a great point when he was talking about it. Like, you have to keep NASCAR relevant, and I think that doing that is 100% going to keep it relevant, especially with other manufacturers and such. I wish it wouldn't ever go full electric. I don't think that ever will, at least for the foreseeable future. But as far as hybrid goes, that's not going to change a whole lot. It's just going to keep it relevant. I think it's probably going to end up being a good thing.
Yeah, I do too. I think you could, Peter. I think you can make some serious horsepower with a hybrid motor.
You took that right out of my head. I mean, if you add some hybrid electrification, then that could, in theory, add some more horsepower back. And last week in Texas showed that we need horsepower back in some racetracks.
Yep.
Well, I think there's room in NASCAR for an exhibition type of series, like a Formula E or Indy Lights, or I know we have Xfinity and trucks.
Why not
just
run SUVs? Just make it different.
That would be dangerous.
I remember a long time ago when the truck series first came out, one of my colleagues had a daughter who was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 at the time, and she looked at the truck race on TV, and she's like, NASCAR's racing trucks now, Dad? And he said, yeah. And she said, what's next, minivans? And I'm like, well, if you want to get moms involved, that would be a great series to have.
It'd be fun to watch, yeah.
I tried to race my SUVs, my Hot Wheels once, and that didn't turn out very well. So
they
I don't
too
know.
High a center of gravity.
Yeah, I don't
imagine
know.
Those things racing at Daytona.
Well, can you imagine like going down the backstretch at Talladega with the wind blowing and all the cars just get blown over? Like one car survives and that's about it. I know they race 18-wheelers too, so I mean, they race everything but SUVs.
You work the aerodynamics by the auto door open, the door slide back.
If you lower the driver's side window 1/2 inch, but like Brad was doing, in the race on Sunday. Like he was messing with the
flipping the valve.
flipping the valves on and off to do.
That's so interesting. I mean,
to create horsepower.
It's so cool to see.
It is interesting
how that works.
I mean, it's crazy because he was doing it with
every lap.
Yeah, every single lap.
Every lap, and you're reaching up and flipping it, and then you're reaching up and flipping it. It's like, wow.
Didn't he get a top 10?
He did, I think.
There you go.
Something like that.
Yeah, he finished fourth.
Oh, there you go.
He was fourth.
Well, there you
Okay.
go.
He's been sneaky recently, too, because he was under the radar big. I mean, not doing well.
Yep.
And he's somebody who's not coming back to his team next year. So,
Right.
I mean, he doesn't
Put it
really.
all
That's
out
a good
there.
point.
Put it all out there.
Race with nothing to lose.
You don't know what you got coming.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. That's very true. All right, we are going to step aside here in just a second. When we come back, we got a little bit of a segment left, but I do want to talk about Todd Bodine because he's on the verge of making some history. And he's doing it with the help of Marcus Lemonis, the Camping World CEO, who kind of lifted him up and kind of got him to where he needed to be. And we'll talk about that for a little brief moment when we come back. This is the Inside Pass presented by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. We'll be right back.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, my name's Eric Jones, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass. We got time for just one more little bit of news. We talked about Marcus Lemonis, the CEO of Camping World, along with the help of social media, got Todd Bodine some starts next season in the Camping World Truck Series to get him to 800 career starts, which is a milestone moment for him. I think he will be one of only, 4 drivers, I think, to have ever achieved 800 starts in the Truck Series. So that's pretty cool, Tom.
It's 800 starts across all 3 series.
Yeah, across all 3 series, yes.
It's not just in the trucks.
But still, a really, really cool milestone for him. He's got 6 races coming up next year.
Do we know which team?
No, I don't think so.
Believe
It doesn't
so.
say yet.
I'm going to guess 51 truck. That's my
That'd be
guess.
cool to see.
That would be cool to
That's
see.
my
would.
guess.
Yeah,
Either that or
definitely.
a Nice Motorsports truck.
Such
Well,
a bizarre
that's the
thing to me.
Well,
your guess?
no, I guess Kyle's still running trucks. I was going to say he's not running anymore, but that's Xfinity.
It's just so
Right.
bizarre to me in general, like the whole deal put together. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's very cool, but just as I don't know.
It's the power of social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It'll
He's
do
going to
it.
have to get back in the gym.
I wonder how he'll do.
It's
There'll be some added weight on the left side.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting back, Jesse, we're gonna have to have you come back and co-host us again. It was fun.
Yeah,
It was
thank
good to
you. I
have you
appreciate
here.
it, guys.
Yes.
Definitely
No
a
problem
pleasure
at all.
every time.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Coming
Yeah.
up, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Where do fans follow you real quick?
Yeah, JesseLoveRacing.com. That's my website. Yeah, thank you for assisting me on that. Jesse Love Jr. on Instagram and Jesse Love Racing pretty much everywhere else on Facebook, Twitter.
Nice. We also thank Calum Illot for joining us tonight as well. Nice week. Mr. Tinder, Jack Wood's going to be here along with Leighton. And hopefully we'll have Chris Rice on the phone as well. So we'll see what happens with that. You guys have a great week. Enjoy the racing activities at Kansas Speedway and see you next week. Goodbye.
You've been listening to The Inside Pass, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. You can be an IT professional in as little as 4 months. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation test today. For more exciting and passionate motorsports content, follow The Inside Pass on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and visit theinsidepasslive.com. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, affiliates, or marketing partners of The Inside Pass. No part of this show may be reproduced in any manner without the expressed written consent of The Inside Pass. Thank you for listening.